We're the first, or the world's first, software-defined edge computing company. We're based in Silicon Valley, 90 plus employees distributed worldwide, and in a nutshell, we're trying to do for the edge what VMware did for the data center and make it extremely easy to deploy virtualization on premise. Fundamentally speaking, our platform solves two main challenges. The first is deploying at scale. When you have a lot of geographically distributed deployments, one of our customers is, like, for example, one of the biggest fast food chains in the world. And they have many different restaurants with many different servers deployed, and then they just install our layer on top. Then they get an easy dashboard to see what's out there, and then they can, with one click, deploy, like, inventory management or payment processing, or connect to their smart kiosks, things like that. And so then, once our software gets installed, the infrastructure actually matches what they're used to deploying on in the cloud with the same services and APIs, and it's very seamless then to transition whatever they've been developing and running in the cloud and move it and migrate it down to the edge.
That's great. So as I can imagine, you're speaking with executives in various different industries, talking to them about this solution. What are some of the other common pain points that you're hearing as you're having conversations with these various executives?
Yeah, so in general, the edge computing space is fairly nascent, and what we're seeing is, because we work with a lot of different industries, a lot of different verticals, I think the biggest kind of challenge we're seeing, or the pain point, is a lot of the customers and partners in our space, they're still deciding what makes sense to run in the cloud versus on-premise. Sometimes it's very easy, like video analytics done on-premise is a very straightforward use case. You have cameras that are sitting around in a building or wherever it might be, and a lot of the time there's video streams of nothing happening. You don't want to be piping that up to the cloud and wasting bandwidth, wasting resources up there. But then sometimes, if you're thinking about maybe an industrial use case, factories, smart factories, there's a lot of different data that maybe makes a lot of sense to be acting on it, right away. But as you collect more and more of it up in the cloud, you can actually get deeper insights and make better predictions. So there's always we're seeing a lot of balance between the two, and everyone deciding what makes sense for them to be running in the cloud versus on the edge. And our goal is just provide the tools for them to easily do that.
Right, and so I can imagine that you've been in business for how long now? Have you been the CEO for this company?
Long time, actually 5.5 years, going on 6 soon.
Congrats, that's a good amount of time. So what advice do you have for other tech entrepreneurs who are getting started? What have you learned from your journey that you could share with others?
The first piece of advice I'd say is don't be afraid to build something against the overall trends or what analysts are saying or what VCs are saying. 5 or 6 years ago, everyone was very invested up in the cloud, and even we had trouble raising funds and kind of going and pitching to people saying, hey, wait, don't do everything up in the cloud. But as long as an entrepreneur you believe in your product, you believe in what you're building and the pain point you're solving, I think that's going to go a long way, and really it'll end up attracting whether it's investors or customers. You'll really end up attracting a good ecosystem around you. I'm on camera.
Yeah, no, I can definitely understand. What are some of the differences between going with a traditional VC versus corporate VC?
Yeah, really good question. And it's actually a great question for us, since all of our venture capital has been from corporate VCs. Typically, with the corporate VC, they are a little bit more patient. They understand the technology deeper. They also, of course, have a strategic angle where they know the success of their portfolio company will drive value for them and drive adoption for their technology. But they understand. They're willing to roll up their sleeves, understand the sales cycle, whether that's with themselves and their customer base or with similar companies that kind of might be adjacent to them in similar industries. They've really been supportive of us, and I know even in the early days when we met them, we were very upfront with them, and we told them, look, edge is a very new space. We're going to have to go and understand some of the use cases. We're going to have to understand what this looks like, what data people are running on the edge, and they've been really great. They've some of the business units have worked with us for a little while, and we have a great understanding of edge. We've been doing this for a while. Our software is extremely hardened. It's enterprise ready. We're extremely well positioned thanks to corporate VC and the access they've given us to their BUs and their customer base.